very much, Steve. Drizzly afternoon here follows a drizzly bank holiday on the south coast. The players will be lining up any moment now, I would think, for the national anthem. It's the way they're shaping up, though we haven't had that confirmed. They've just had the flip of the coin. The two captains were out there with tonight's referee Simon Hooper. Huge at both ends of the table. Brighton win will take them 6th above Spurs. Everton win, and it'll be their first away from home in such a long while, would take them out of the relegation positions. And we're about to get us off and underway with Brighton and Hove Albion in the blue and white striped shirts and white shorts, kicking from right to left, and Everton in their change, the pink shirts and the purple shorts, and away we go then. Brighton with this terrific home run at this moment in time, 8 wins in their last 10 games, and Everton in dire straits away from home. They simply can't put a run of away victories together. It's 13 league games since they last tasted success away at Southampton, and they've got a hopeless record as well against teams in the top half of the table. Winless in their last 18 away games against top half sides, but they're on the attack straight away here. Calvert-Lewin into the box, and it's Everton who lead! A sensational start for Everton with 36 seconds gone. What a start for them. Calvert-Lewin broke away down the right-hand side, crossed into the middle, and it was slotted home. And Everton, this is the start they wanted, buoyed by Leicester City's crumpling defeat at Fulham earlier in the afternoon. Danny Gammon, what a start this is.
It certainly is, Jonathan. It's a brilliant Everton counter-attack. They win the ball back quickly on the halfway line. Waters comes out on his left-hand side. Alex Iwobi does a really good job of kind of holding up play. Patterson steps in, the ball ricochets to Iwobi. The ball's fed into Calvert-Lewin. Fantastic kind of half turn to get around Lewis Dunk. And then can he show the composure on the cross? Can he pick somebody out? Yes, he can. The slides it across the 6-yard box. Abdoulaye Doucouré's on that far post. A simple finish, low into that far corner. What a start for Everton. Exactly the start they would have been looking for.
Doucouré's third goal for the club. He's missed 3 of the last game, banned from the sending off against Manchester United. He will play a huge role in their forthcoming games. Well, I've hardly had chance to run you through the two lineups. Brighton have Jason Steele in goal, Gross back in the side after injury, Webster, Dunk and Estupinian, Caicedo and McAllister, and Buonanotte under Matoma and Welbeck. The question would be Gross or Caicedo playing right back. It is Gross. Caicedo played there against Manchester United on Thursday when they were in sparkling form. They've got a big schedule of games. Everton with Pickford in goal, Patterson, Mina, his first appearance since January the 21st, preferred in the side to Keane, Tarkowski and Mikolenko, Garner and Gay, Iwobi, Doucouré and McNeil, Calvert-Lewin up front, Patterson their other change, in for the injured Coleman, who's out unfortunately for the rest of the season. Well, what a start for Everton Football Club here. Now bear in mind that Brighton have kept 6 clean sheets in their last 8 home games here. We're talking about one of the best defences at home in the Premier League. But they have Mitoma on the ball, right hand side, the Japanese international wearing gloves, turquoise boots, put it into Caicedo, wide to Estupinian. Estupinian switches to his right foot, gets the cross in, Mina gets it away, tumbles and holds the pit of his back as he fell awkwardly. Hasn't been blessed with fortune with injuries, missed 62 games as an Everton player since joining in August of 2018. His height will be crucial today in both penalty areas, and while Brighton do have that good defensive record here, they haven't at all times looked super confident in defending set pieces in the air. They're in a position here where they haven't been in recent games at home, trailing, and Lewis Dunk, tall and commanding, short sleeve shirt on him despite the drizzle and the early spring chill, gets it wide to Mitoma. In comes his cross. Now Welbeck rose and glanced the header wide. What he didn't know is that Facundo Buonanotte was coming in behind him. Had he left it, Buonanotte might have scored, Dan.
Yeah, I don't think he's ever going to leave that one, though, Jonathan. It's right on his head, Welbeck. He's not able to get the right direction on the head of Mitoma. Fantastic delivery, pace, whip on the cross, and as you say, he does take it away from Buonanotte on the far post, but he's not to know that he's behind him. Good response from Brighton.
Well, if Jordan Pickford keeps only an 8th clean sheet this season, a 4th in 14 games, Everton will be out of the bottom 3. You know, we all play the game where we look at games to come, and they'll win that one, they'll draw that one, they'll lose that one. I actually had Everton losing this, finishing the season on 33 points. That wouldn't have been enough, because I have Forest, Leeds and Leicester all finishing on 34. At least I did until today. Thought Leicester would get a point at Fulham.
We just don't know
them.
Yeah, it certainly is. We just don't know the competitiveness of this league. Any result is possible, and if you do look at the fixtures, even as a player, you look at the fixtures when you're in this kind of situation and you're wondering where you're going to pick up points. You're seeing other teams maybe picking up results, and the pressure is huge. It really is. But that early Everton goal, they've certainly given themselves something to hang on to now.
I think they saw something in their performance up at Leicester, the 2-2 draw. There was something there. There was something stirring in them again. But Brighton on the attack, Welbeck, who's had a super season for them, tried to wriggle through a gap that wasn't there, and Everton clear and look for the running of Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Dunk is there with him, commanding, and steers it back to Jason Steele. Is there anywhere a more consistent and effective and authoritative English centre-half in the Premier League than Lewis Dunk this season?
Totally agree with you. I really do, Jonathan. I think he's so unlucky not to have been involved in more England squads, to see his kind of development as a player. I remember playing against him in the lower leagues as a Brighton player, and he always had that kind of ball playing ability, the ability to spray those crossfield passes. But I think his game has just gone to another level under the different managers he's worked under, Graham Potter, now Roberto De Zerbi, and I don't think there's been too many better central defenders than him in the Premier League this season. There certainly hasn't.
Here's McAllister for Brighton, their World Cup winner. Down below us, we're very low down at in the lower tier of the West Stand, no more than 20 rows from the near touchline. Roberto De Zerbi in a puffer jacket down there with his white trainers. You can see him clearly, hands in pockets. And he is an animated and a passionate coach on that touchline. Sean Dyche with a smart-looking charcoal grey suit on, it seems, down there on the touchline as well. So Matoma on the corner of the box whips across in towards the far side of the penalty area. It's headed away and cleared for Everton momentarily, not fully away by Mikolenko. But Brighton pick it up again with Caicedo. I thought he was very good against Manchester United at Wembley, and he was super here the other day, as a right full-back. Kept Marcus Rashford quiet for long periods of the game, as it's whipped away by him back in midfield today to Mitoma. This could be a key. Mitoma on the left-hand side for Brighton. Little backheel by Caicedo. Now wide by Pascal Gross for Brighton and Hove Albion. They've got these youngsters they brought through. Buonanotte in today, just outside the penalty area. 30-yard crossfield ball to Mitoma, facing away from goal. Brings it down. Inside him, 10 yards away is McAllister. One more pass brings in Webster. Now to the right-hand touchline, and Danny Welbeck wearing a protected bandage on that injured left wrist. We've seen that in recent weeks. Brighton keeping possession as they want to do, and Gross swings a long cross the far side of the penalty. Mitoma first time into the box. Undav swivels to the edge of the penalty area. It's a fair challenge in there, I thought, by Doucouré on Buonanotte, and the ball is cleared and Everton will run it away. And Buonanotte has reacted impetuously and chasing back. He thought he was fouled. He's brought down the Everton man. It'll be a free kick to the visitors for the foul challenge on Dwight McNeil.
Yeah, those moments are going to be really important for Everton. Not going to see a lot of the ball, but when they do win the ball back, the likes of Dwight McNeil, Doucouré breaking up play in that midfield as he has done 2 or 3 occasions. He's getting those passes in or drawing fouls. He allows the ability with his pace, obviously, to get Everton up the field. You're looking at Iwobi on this right-hand side, who might have to do a bit more of a defensive job, helping out Nathan Patterson. We know how good Matoma is in 1v1 positions.
Here's McNeil, plumb dead centre, 10 yards outside the box. Tried to find on the edge of the penalty area. Doucouré is taken up advanced positions for Everton today. Perhaps they sense that with McAllister playing in a deeper role, not the 10, but as he did the other night in the deeper role alongside Caicedo, he might want to venture forward, might leave Caicedo isolated, and Doucouré is pushed up on him. It's a free kick for Brighton. The rain is coming down. It's not pumping down, it's that horrible, insidious sort of late April, early May rain we get. But it's been persistent most of the day down here, which is really unfortunate for all the traders down on the seafront, the cafes and the bars who depend on the bank holidays, of course. Wish them well. That's a free pint, by the way, boys, to me, if you see me in recent weeks. And now it's back here to Jason Steele. These days are hard, Danny. You've got to take any opportunity you can. Here's Dunk over the halfway line. Matoma has it. Back to Dunk in the fluorescent orange boots. Changes to his right foot. Long. Good ball to Estupiñán. He can keep it in. He was up full stretch. Couldn't quite keep it in. Brighton playing some decent football. De Zerbi turns. Walks back. Has a little conflab with his coaching staff down there. 1-0 Everton lead.
Yeah, been a good response from Brighton. Dominating possession. Looking to move Everton around. Just looking at the Everton goal again. It's brilliantly worked, and just on Lewis Dunk with the goal. I think he's expecting the ball from Patterson to actually go channel side, and Calvert-Lewin actually positions himself just to the right hand side, and the ball's played into his feet, and it's a brilliant ball in by Patterson and brilliant skill by Calvert-Lewin to get away.
He's away again, right hand side of the penalty. A low cross in that Dunk side puts to his centre back partner Webster up towards the halfway line. Undovas won a free kick here. The arms of Yerry Mina over his shoulder. Free kick. The breeze is blowing the drizzle into our faces down here, low down in the commentary position. It's a free kick for Brighton. The Brighton fans were under caution for Yerry Mina. It wasn't a cautionable offence. It's just a free kick. Get on with it.
Yep, there can be contact. Nothing more than a foul. Definitely not a yellow card, but big evening for Yerry Mina, coming back into the starting 11. Obviously Michael Keane the last couple of games has struggled a little bit, so difficult game to come back into up against Brighton, who are a fantastic side, just getting a little bit too tight to Undav there.
Earlier on in the day, Leicester City lost at Fulham by 5-3. Fulham were 4 up. Leicester also missed a penalty in that game. Congratulations to Luton and Middlesbrough, Coventry and Sunderland all in the playoffs. It'll be Coventry, Middlesbrough, Sunderland and Luton in the first leg of the playoffs. Millwall missed out, beaten at home by Blackburn, even though they led at one stage by 3-1. Congratulations to Northampton Town, promoted back to League One after a 1-0 win at Tranmere Rovers. Also in the playoffs, Salford and Stockport and Bradford City, and it was Mansfield who missed out, even though they won at Colchester 2-0. They missed out on goal difference there. Commiserations. Here's Matoma, foul by Arobi, free kick for Brighton, 5 yards in from this near touchline, around about 10 yards from the halfway line. De Zerbi turns and speaks to the fourth official because the Everton bench off alarming, thinking Matoma made a meal of it, and De Zerbi tells his assistant to go and sit down. He's exchanging words with one of the Everton coaching staff. Matoma will run at his man again. Matoma pulls it back here then to McAllister into Gross, edge of the D, stolen away by McNeil, siphoned it to the right hand side by Cascada. Gross pumps it into the penalty alone. Mina was there to get it away, and Everton look composed. They're playing some decent football out from the back. Most of all, they're competing in so many games this season, to the utter despair of their fans. They haven't competed, but today they really are. I tell you what, even though they've had the game long run without winning matches away, they've actually drawn, I think it's 4 of their last 5 away, something like that. They just have picked up 1 or 2 points away from home. They have been improved on the run.
Yeah, could do some more clean sheets, Everton. I think they've scored 2 goals in 3 of the last 5 games, but haven't won any of them. I think they've drawn them all, so normally you associate Sean Dyche teams as being really solid, compact, not conceding too many. To score 2 away to Leicester and not get all 3 points would have been disappointing, but
Matoma into the penalty area, ahead of the challenge. McAllister got it away. Now if Matoma had gone down under that challenge, I think it would have been a penalty, but he kept his feet. He didn't dive. He was certainly contacted. He breezed beyond Patterson, pulled it back. The shot was blocked.
So good Matoma in his 1v1 situation. Just puts the afterburners on Patterson there. Iwobi needs to do a little bit more, getting across and doubling up. The little pull back to McAllister, but excellent from Adrissage. He's right there to block the shot inside the 18-yard box.
Everton lead 1-0. Decore's goal after 34 seconds, the earliest Premier League goal Brighton have ever conceded. And Everton have it again. Decore off to McNeil. And McNeil, if he looks up, has Mikolenko flying on that left-hand side, and Brighton are backpedaling. Good pace about Everton at the moment. In comes across, and it's plucked out low down by the sprawling Jason Steele. And did 11th start in 14 games. Number 1 here now, but they've ruined that moment, Brighton, by squandering possession from the release from the goalkeeper. In comes across into the penalty area for Everton, looking far post, looking for McNeil, who was up there, and Brighton running away. There's a really intense pace about the game. Welbeck centre circle, lovely challenge on him there by Idrissa Gueye. Wins it back from Everton. The Everton fans, away to the right hand side, they always travel with big numbers, and they always travel with passionate numbers. Really singing loud and proud. Got a big new stadium, we've been hearing about that for donkey's years, it would seem, to move into someday soon, and they have to be a Premier League team for that, and trying their hardest today to stay in this top flight.
That's an opportunity initially for Everton on the counter-attack. The cross from Mikalenko not quite good enough, and then they almost get caught on the transition, but fantastic covering tackle from Idrissa Gueye. That midfield three of Everton to start this game really well, kind of breaking up play. Decoy's been the one who's looked to release himself forward.
Decent ball in by Stupinian. Brighton on the attack, no way through there. Good defending by McNeil inside his own penalty. A foul by Buonanotte, who was holding on to his shirt. The Brighton fans in the lower tier of the West End all around us howl with the ignominy of it all, but it was a free kick. He's holding on. He's holding on for grim death in there, look.
He certainly is. Does a decent job there, Brighton. As that cross comes in, he gets himself almost into a full back area, and then he's in a tussle with Buonanotte, and he's just stronger than him, wins the ball back off him and draws a foul. Important moments then for Everton. It's only a quarter of an hour gone, they're 1 up, but those moments where they can just relieve the pressure, get the team up the field by drawing free kicks, so important.
Buonanotte, only 18 years of age, plucked by Brighton from global football. This is what they do as Iwobi frees on this near side, a little cross into the penalty area that comes to nothing for Everton Football Club. The cross was by Patterson, and then there's a chance here as it breaks to Calvert-Lewin. He's dragged the shot wide. I don't think he knows what a good chance that was.
Well, certainly should hit the target. Good overlap on his right hand side from Patterson. Poor cross. Brighton win the ball back, but again, Idrissa Gueye stepping in on the edge of the 18-yard box, winning the ball back, and the ball just drops down to Calvert-Lewin, and he just creates half a yard and just scuffs the strike. You'll be disappointed with that. Should be working the goalkeeper there.
Two big nights of Champions League football coming. Johnny Murray and Chris Rodder over in Madrid for Real Madrid against Manchester City tomorrow, first leg of the semi-final. That kicks off at 8 in Denison, Pat Nevin in Milan for the AC Inter game. And they'll be working hard in the post-match press conferences and going to watch training over there and examining a little bit of Milanese culture, I would imagine. Now here's Mitoma between the touchline and the penalty area, spun the ball in, and Gueye working very hard back inside his own box. That's given away though by the Everton midfield player James Garner, but they retrieve it up to Calvert-Lewin. He's drawn another free kick and he's being a real handful.
Certainly is. And he will get his chances, he will get his opportunities. Did you look at Brighton and how they defend? It is very much two at the back. The two full-backs kind of push high and wide, and when they have the ball, they essentially defend just with Lewis Dunk and Adam Webster. So on the turnover, Everton will have opportunities. The ball just played into the feet of Calvert-Lewin from Iwobi there, and Dunk just kicking through the back of Calvert-Lewin, giving the foul away.
Now Simon Hooper, the referee, has pulled out a yellow card for Yerry Mina for protesting. Sean Dyche has immediately gone down the line and has spoken to the fourth official about that, and has complained to Graham Scott that we've only been playing 17 minutes. It's early for a yellow card for time wasted. He was dawdling, it has to be said, but was he taking that much time as Lewis Dunk, just outside his D, props a header to Mitoma, plays it back on an angle to Estupinian, draws away from Iwobi, then cracks it forward, and it hits Iwobi in the nether regions. And he's nearly doubled up. He's looked painfully to the skies. There's a couple of tears in his eyes. But he's showing, look, you would have been told this by coaches, don't let them know you're hurt. Yeah. Show no pain.
Exactly that. But sometimes when you get it in that area, you've got no choice but to go down. Fair play to him. Stayed on his feet.
Estupinian will take the throw. Throws it down the line. Chopped away by Under. A little bit risky the ball, but it's come away to Buonanotte. Away on that far side. It's a 50-yard crossfield hoik of the ball, and it's tucked away then by Mikalenko, the Ukraine international, for a throw to Everton, who've never won back-to-back Premier League games at Brighton. They won here last season, and they lead by a goal to nil on 5 Live from the BBC at the end of a terrific day of football, whistling around the Championship and the lower regions of the Football League as well. as there's a foul here as Mitoma rolled inside Patterson. Patterson dragged him down. This is a key area, Danny, isn't it, here, the Brighton left?
Yeah, it certainly is. Looking to get the ball out to Mitoma quickly into those 1v1 situations, and he just darts inside the Patterson there and he just dangles a leg. He doesn't really need to make that challenge. He can just follow him inside, dangles that leg and gives the foul away.
Free kick for Brighton, touched to Gross, out wide to Estupinian again, who gave him the ball. We've been playing 19 minutes, gets across, it deflects off Iwobi to the far post, and it's away, and should, well, I thought it was deflected, but it must have been headed out by the Brighton players. A goal kick, and taken very quickly by Pickford over the halfway line. Estupinian had covered back 40 yards, Iwobi waited for the ball to drop on his head, didn't know Estupinian was coming, and Brighton have it, and Sean Dyche turns and grumbles to his coaching staff with his arms spread wide like an umpire giving a wide, and Brighton have it now inside the centre circle with Big Webster.
And that's why Alex Iwobi's got a massive job on, because it's going to be difficult for Patterson in those 1v1 situations. So Mitoma can go either way, he can go inside out. So if he comes inside, Iwobi needs to be there, he needs to be the next man that he runs into.
They find Mitoma again. Iwobi was there to cover him, comes across from Estupinian, headed away by Mikalenko on that far side, and Calvert-Lewin back foraging, doing a good job for his team until he tried to find Iwobi, played the ball with too much fizz behind Iwobi. Brighton have a throw 25 yards from the dead ball line, left hand side, trading 1-0. It's Estupinian. Oh, McAllister, a lovely drop of the shoulder, just give himself a half a yard there on Gay. Welbeck trying to lever it away to Undav, sold him short up to halfway line, and Durstante will get a caution for bringing down Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Very, very clever piece of centre forward play there. He dummied the ball, let it run at pace beyond the pair of them, and Lewis Dunk had to foul it.
Yeah, something very similar to what he did to Lewis Dunk for the Everton goal. Just turned the ball over. Brighton, Everton in that midfield area again, doing a good job of winning the ball back. Ball played into the feet of Calvert-Lewin, who's just dropped off Lewis Dunk. Looks initially like he's going to hold the ball up, but he just lets it run past him. Just sells Lewis Dunk into the foul there. Good centre forward play.
One of the talk was before the game was a Brighton win would take them above Tottenham Hotspur. They'd have 58 points, 4 points behind Liverpool, still with a couple of games in hand, chasing fifth, and they would be within touching distance of Manchester United, 5 points behind with a game in hand. And Sean Dyche probably recorded all that talk and played it to his players. Was there enough respect for Everton going into this game? A lot of noise about Brighton's successes, and it's Everton who lead, but there's a free kick for offside, and a free kick will be taken then by Jason Steele, trailing 1-0. We know what you can expect with a Sean Dyche team. He will drill them and drill them and then drill them again. Effort, effort, effort. Collective responsibility, organisation, discipline. But Brighton play right in the tone. There's a hefty challenge on him by Patterson. Referee says no free kick. The Brighton fans howling. Iwobi clears the halfway line. Calvert-Lewin, back to his best form here today, is forced to throw in with a slight deflection to the applause of his manager. They were desperate to get Calvert-Lewin fit again. No, he had that hamstring problem that cost him February through to the middle of April. So many injury problems. It's the 250th game of his club career in all, and he's excelling so far.
He certainly is. It's going to be so important for them between now and the end of the season. Not a lot of goals in this Everton team, but I thought he played very well up at Leicester. Obviously took his goal really well, missed the howler as well, obviously involved in with the assist for the goal here. It was kind of movement in behind, his hold-up play, his work rate, as well as his goals, so important.
Adam Webster has it for Brighton, the right side centre half, tall from a Bristol City player into the centre circle. Undav is there, disappointing touch back to Caicedo, who's hurt in the challenge, and Everton will break off back. Menil has Decore to the left hand side, the goal scorer. Menil tries a little shot and it's deflected away. The deflected challenge away off Webster, who looks and glares at Undav, who gave a ball away far too cheaply there.
Sloppy Brian. It's happened a few occasions where they're looking to play those short passes into midfield, and Everton have been right at it, and then they break on the counter-attack. And I just thought Menil there should have played Decore in on the overlap, elects for the shot, which eventually gets blocked, but better option would have just been playing Decore in on his left-hand side.
23 minutes gone, Everton 1-0 up at Brighton and Hove Albion. This would be a turn-up as Everton try to retain this long-standing run in top flight football. In comes the cross, glance through his own penalty area there by a Brighton player, comes back with a shot by Idrissa Gueye. Lewis Dunk flung himself at it, no question of it being a free kick, and now Gueye has come back and carted Mitoma, dropped him to the ground. The Brighton bench are enraged, they want more protection for Mitoma. It's a yellow card for the Everton man.
Well, first tackle he's got wrong, Idrissa Gueye knows exactly what he's doing though. Takes a shot on the edge of the 80-yard box, he gets blocked, and Mitoma's just driving down his left hand side and sees the ball and goes for it. He has no interest really in getting into a race with Mitoma. It's poor foul to give away. He's not really going anywhere there, just didn't fancy getting into a race with him.
Everton relegated in 1930, promoted in 1931, and they've been in the top flight ever since. And here's Iwobi racing at speed, carrying the ball well down the right hand side. In comes his cross from a yard in from the touchline. Lewis Dunk volleyed it away, but not too far, and they've lost possession here. Brighton, they claim a free kick for a high boot by Iwobi on the challenging Mitoma, not given, and then it's lifted into the box. Ducouré plays it back, chance here for McNeil, brilliant block, side saving block by Webster, thrust himself at it. Everton knocking on the door though, leading by a goal to none on 5 Live on the BBC. 25 minutes gone, 1-0 they lead, and they look threatening. Where's this Everton side been all season? Here's Patterson, yard in from the near touchline. They're right, Mitoma blocks him off, so he comes all the way back then to James Tarkowski, a league ever present for Everton, away towards that far side. The ball too much from Mikolenko, and it's a throw to Brighton Hove Albion.
They look sharper, they look brighter, Everton. A standing play from Iwobi on 2 occasions on his right hand side. The little ball in behind from Garner that releases Ducouré down the side of the 18-yard box and just cuts the ball back to McNeil. You think he's going to shoot on his right and he just drags on to his left, but what a goal-saving challenge that is from Adam Webster, because that's nestling in the far corner.
Dunk for Brighton. Everton could be out of the relegation positions tonight if Forest beat Southampton. Leicester City beaten at Fulham 5-3 earlier will drop into those relegation positions. Pick of the results of the Championship: Burnley 3, Cardiff 0. They celebrated with the trophy lift. Swansea 3, West Bromwich Albion 2. Neither makes the playoff. Preston 0, Sunderland 2. These are our feature games. You can get all the results on the BBC website. Millwall 3, Blackburn 4, the topsy-turvy game. Both miss out on the playoffs. Here's McAllister for Brighton on the edge of the penalty area, trying to force it through. Ricochets away. McNeil, his shirt was being tugged by Gross. It's a free kick. And once again, the Brighton fans are happy with the decision. But it's a free kick, and what Brighton mustn't do is get in the mindset of playing the referee and Everton.
It's a definite foul again. Just dragging on the back of the shirt, McNeil, Pascal Gross. Has to be careful of Dwight McNeil picking the ball up on the edge of the 18-yard box, and he just evades one challenge and then the second one kind of comes in. It's not an area where you want to lose the ball, but it's a definite foul.
One featured Championship game we had earlier on that I didn't give you the result. Middlesbrough 1, Coventry 1. Remarkable. Both are in the playoffs. They'll play each other in the playoffs. Both were bottom 3 in October. Coventry couldn't play any of their first lot of games at home. It is a remarkable story, that. Away by Pickford, nearly came to Welbeck. Ricochets on then to Mina. 5 Live from the BBC. 1-0 Everton. The ball is pushed out at pace to the right hand side. Patterson can't keep it in. Mitoma is trotting back. Dunkers across there and forces the ball back towards the goalkeeper, sells it short, but gets a free kick from the assistant who stood right above Lewis Dunk, right on top of it. Lewis Dunk glares at the Everton man. The free kick is good. Was it just a throw in? It should be a free kick. It is a free kick.
Yeah, he's right up for this one though. Nathan Patterson, challenges are flying in. He needs to be careful. Yellow card won't be too far away, but great to see that kind of attitude and fight from him, but just needs to get the balance right.
Had to be patient since the move from Rangers in January 22. This is only his 20th game. He was out for a while. Started this year with a medial ligament injury. He's played 82 minutes since his return from that injury in March, and those minutes have come from the bench. Gets a start today.
Yeah, what you don't want is a yellow card up against Mitoma. So just keep feeding the ball to him out to this left-hand side. It's going to be very difficult for him to then continue to be that aggressive and make those kind of challenges.
Webster ambles into the Everton half. He's right of centre. They trail 1-0. tall, upright defender with the fluorescent orange boots. Very bad ball into McAllister, and Everton get it away, and Brighton are playing well below themselves. McNeil, Everton playing above themselves compared to recent form. In comes across, he's found Decore, first time on it through! It's a sensational goal for Everton. They lead at Brighton by 2 goals to 0. Brighton slipped shot, gave the ball away, didn't recover, didn't get the numbers back with energy. Everton worked it down the left-hand side. The cross found Decore unmarked in the penalty area, and he absolutely hammered in a right foot volley. They lead 2-0.
Well, this has happened about 5 or 6 occasions. Brighton playing those short passes into that midfield area. Everton winning the ball back, and then they're on the counter-attack quickly. And I've got to say, Decore has been outstanding for this half an hour. He's still got a lot to do with the finish, but the concentration and the preciseness of the strike is fantastic. They win the ball back quickly. Decore is actually the man that initially wins it back. Ball gets fed out to this left-hand side to McNeil, and he just continues his run. He's unmarked on the far post. Great delivery from McNeil to pick him out. It's so exact that he can just take it first time on the volley, but as I say, he's got a lot to do on a slight angle, gets to concentrate on the strike, and he beats Jason Steele on his near post. It's a brilliant goal, brilliant finish.
Well, Alexis McAllister has had plenty of plaudits this season, but he gave the ball away there, and he didn't get back in time to cover Decore, who sprinted beyond him and carried on sprinting. And with half an hour gone, Everton are 2-0 up at Brighton and Hove Albion, and their fans really begin to believe again. He's doubled his season's tally with 2 today, a former Watford player, but this is going to be a Brighton ball down below us for another foul on Mitoma, who holds the key for a Brighton comeback. The ball is then kicked away by Nathan Patterson, and the Brighton fans howl. He has a little glance in his direction. Every 2 minutes I look down, and there are 3-4 Everton coaching staff members around the 4th official down here. Our old Five Live friend Steve Stone is amongst them, and it's going to be Adam Webster now for Brighton to pick it up and start things going again. Sean Dyche has brought his coaching staff with him, Ian Rowe and Steve Stone, well versed in digging teams out from trouble from his years up. But listen to the Everton fans. Here's Mitoma for Brighton with across the far side of the penalty. Buonanotte looked a little bit lost today out there, couldn't stretch, and Everton will clear it away. They're moving the ball in the style of Brighton and Hove Albion at their best, and I'll tell you, I don't think I'm flattering Everton there. I think they're playing some good stuff here, Danny, but they've given the ball away, and McAllister has it now. And Mitoma, the question, will Everton be able to cope when Brighton do start to play? Mitoma's ball into the penalty, headed up and over his own goal by McNeil, who's put in such a shift in the opening 31 minutes. Full of ball, Brighton.
Outstanding defending on that far post. Mitoma ducking in from that left-hand side. Whips a lovely ball into that far post, looking to pick out Buonanotte, but excellent defensive work, tracking his runner there, Dwight McNeil. Really important defensive header.
Rose, who's missed just one league game this season, rejuvenated this campaign. Stands right arm raised on the far side, left hand down by his side as he balances himself to hook this corner away from goal. Big header up and away, not yet to the edge of the penalty area where Iwobi was challenged well by Buonanotte. So the ball comes back Brighton's way, switch to the left, the Stupinian into the penalty area, half headed away back there by Yerry Mina, who's 6'5" and jumped about 5'6" there really. It wasn't a great header away, and Brighton pick it up again on the right side. They have possession, yard and a half in, long way away from me on that Brighton right. Pascal Gross is saying to Buonanotte, should have gone down the line, gone beyond him. He didn't, and it just hampered Brighton's progress. So they come back into a central position. Adam Webster side puts it on to McAllister. First time tried to push it into Mitoma, and it's cleared away. There's a weariness about one or two of the Brighton Hove Albion players out there. Physically and perhaps mentally, they've had to play so much football, and they still have so much football to play. Brighton and Hove Albion, it's a difficult run. And Arsenal away, Newcastle away, Man City have to still come here. Southampton fighting for their lives might have gone by then Villa away, big opponents for European football next season. I think a lot of neutrals think it would be a shame if Brighton and Hove Albion don't make Europe, the contribution they've made this season to the Premier League. Can they get the crossing from the left? It's all the way through to Matoma. First time back in the middle. Welbeck to take the ball. Super defending in there for Everton by James Tarkowski. And he cleared and found his mark again. Look, here's Calvert-Lewin dropping all the way back 20 yards inside his own half. But hold it up, play it off. Everton come away again. Should have done. But Mikolenko's just let the ball slip under his foot. And Brighton have it. On the halfway line, far side.
Standing, defending, Tarkowski, ball whipped to that far post, Matoma, first time ball across the 6-yard box, a tap in for Welbeck, I think it was, who was racing in. Tarkowski had to get that right, could have been a penalty as well if he gets it wrong. Brilliant defending.
Danny Gabbard on alongside me for 5 Live. Thoroughly enjoyed his company out in Qatar for the World Cup. I think the last game we did was the only day it had rain over there in the build up to the day. Rain here. Danny Gabbard, the rainmaker of 5 Live.
It's my fault.
It is. Here's Estupiñán round the corner. McAllister quickly off. It's forced in there by Caicedo, and Tarkowski again doubling in behind Iwobi. Mina gets it away to Iwobi. Halfway line. Calvert-Lewin did enough to hold it up. Iwobi's the runner. Decore's on the far side and on a hat-trick, and Brighton a stretch. Oh, the pass was wretchedly too far ahead of Iwobi, Decore, who has to go away on that left-hand side. McNeil is following up. McNeil gets into the penalty. Lopez, it's in! Would you believe this? Everton had 3 goals inside 35 minutes. McNeil's cross zipped in beyond Jason Steele, beaten in his near post. It's Brighton 0, Everton 3.
Well, I'm really struggling to believe this. Everton have been outstanding on the counter-attack. Brighton, well, I'm not sure what's going on. They look leggy, they don't look at it. And Everton are taking full advantage. On the counter-attack again, Everton. Iwobi down this right-hand side. Looked like the attack, but initially fizzled out. Calvert-Lewin doing well, initially holding the ball up. Iwobi gets in behind. It just looks initially like he's overhit the cross. Decore picks it up on the far side of the 18-yard box. No ball into McNeil. I think he's just trying to drill this across the 6-yard box. Takes a wicked deflection on Steele, who's almost trying to gamble on the cross, and goes into the back of the net.
That has to go down as an own goal. The ball's coming away from goal, and as it's coming away from goal, Steele stuck out his right leg. It's poor goalkeeping, really poor goalkeeping, and into his own net. Has to go down as an own goal. McNeil will try and claim his 6th of the season, but it doesn't matter for Everton if they hold on to this, and they're 3-0 up. And Brighton, this doesn't happen to Brighton, not on this ground. Doesn't happen to Brighton anywhere, really, this season, and they're 3-0 down. Arsenal did score 4 here, but Brighton got a couple in reply, and that was their worst day on this ground here this campaign. Conceded 4-3 at Forest the other day, but that was when they came off the cup semi-final shootout heartache. Will it be something if they can get back into this game? Here's Matoma. It's been an extraordinary day of comebacks, mind you. Cleared away poorly by Patterson, and initially Sean Dyche gave him the daggers. Patterson responded with an apology. Sean Dyche applauded it. On we go.
They just don't look at it, Brian. As I said, lacking energy, individual mistakes, giving the ball away in bad areas, and they've looked really vulnerable on the turnover of the ball. Spaces for Everton players to kind of run into.
But you have to be fulsome in your praise for Everton, because they've been superb. They're stooping down into the box. This is better from Brighton. Laid off to Matoma. In comes his cross. Look at the pink shirts back in there to cover. Away initially by Patterson, and not yet away. Garner brought it down. Infield, Decore spoons it forward. McNeil on the counter, and Brighton are again suspect, and he's racing through the middle, and he has to the right-hand side, Calvert-Lewin, but Webster got the block in. They are simply running at Brighton from the halfway line on counter-attacking football, and they are shredding the hopes of the home side.
Yeah, the balance from Everton has been superb, getting men behind the ball, keeping that shape, but once they've won the ball back, as you say, Jonathan, at times they're just running straight through the heart of this Brighton team.
When the Everton coach came to the near touchline, shouted something out to one of his players, got an acknowledgement, thumbs up, sits down. They lead 3, and Stevie Stone now comes back down to the dugout. There's a relaxed look about that Everton dugout. There was a relaxed look on their players as they came out of the tunnel. But here's Brighton on the attack. Caicedo, was he bundled over? Matoma opened his body to bend a shot, not a cross. He was going for goal, I think, the way he shaped his body, but it didn't have enough whipping its away for a goal.
Yeah, I think we saw signs of this in the previous game against Leicester. Everton, they did look more of a threat on the counter-attack. They were a bit more on the front foot. In recent weeks, they have scored more goals, and I think a lot of that is down to committing more men forward. They're actually being a bit more positive and looking to flood the box with more bodies. But then you have to also get back as well, and they have conceded a lot of kind of transition goals, Everton, because of that. But the balance has been absolutely spot on in this first half.
Matoma for Brighton, trailing 3-0 back to Caicedo. One interesting thing about Brighton, the last couple of games, they've had Billy Gilmore in the centre of the midfield, and he was unbelievable here against Wolves, very good against Manchester United. On the bench today, here's McAllister though, trying to wriggle his way through. He was upended in the end, just a little shove when he was at full pelt, brings him down, and a free kick to a man who's an absolute hero back in his homeland. Is McAllister, World Cup winner. What a relationship he had on the field with Messi. What a joy it must have been to play in a World Cup final alongside the great man. He's won a free kick here.
He hasn't really been given too much time and space on the ball though. That Everton midfield three, they've been at it, aggressive, been stepping in, looking to make challenges. Been really difficult for him, Caicedo, to get on the ball.
Pascal Gross, set-piece expert for Brighton, will take it. It's, I would say, 8 yards outside the penalty, a couple of yards left of centre. Right foot stroke towards the far side of the penalty. Good defending. That's why Yerry Mina's in the side to deal with the threat of Lewis Dunk from set pieces, and he got the ball away with the header. But Brighton collected Caicedo to the right-hand side. Can they get the cross in there from Buonanotte? Steered infield. Webster, one more pass, brings in Gross, who stayed on this left. Matoma, left-hand corner of the penalty area, 0-3. In comes across from Gross into the Everton box. Mina stretched out that telescopic long, or rather it was Decore, telescopic long leg to get it away, and Everton have a throw-in.
He's been everywhere, Abdoulaye Decore, a real top of midfield. His performance in this first half, the defensive side of the game, tracking runners, breaking up play, but then has the ability, the energy, the athleticism to get forward and join the front men. Not renowned for scoring too many goals, but he's always been the furthest forward at times. You've seen Calvert-Lewin kind of dropping deep and looking to link play, and then he's the one looking to break from that midfield area.
They have it again. Decore, Calvert-Lewin trying to do a back heel to thwart McAllister, was having none of it. Got the challenge in. Webster has it. 3-0 Everton. 40 minutes played. Attention to detail when Everton had a throw in defensively on their right-hand side moments ago. It was on their right, halfway inside their own half. Sean Dyche screamed across to Nikolenko to come in field 5 yards, which he did. He heard the shout, came in just in case Brighton got it back, just in case Brighton switched it quickly. He's had attention to detail from the man, of course, who's been a manager for so many years now, Sean Dyche. At Burnley, 425 games. At Watford, 49 games. And Brighton attack is Everton now, down the right. Buonanotte's cross was deflected away, comes all the way to Matoma, tried to flick it around the corner quickly to Dennis Undav, and Brighton aren't doing the simple things well. They're over-elaborating sometimes, trying to overplay, and Everton are doing the simple things well. Get it up to Calvert-Lewin. They've just done it again. Where's your support? It's wide on the left. Decore, bring him in. It's just simple stuff. Effective though.
Time and space for Everton players in possession as well. I'm just looking at the other side of the game from Brighton. They've been poor in possession, but out of possession normally much better, much quicker to press and win the ball back. But Everton, when they do win it back, are able to get passes in, time and space in that midfield area, able to counter-attack.
The voice of Danny Gabardon, who could go to the Gobi Desert where it hasn't rained for 183 years, and it will be the day where it rains. And here's Webster, centre circle into McAllister, back again to Webster. Looking. Where's he going to go here on 5-1? Everton 3-0 up, 2 for Decore, and McNeil's cross deflected into his own net by Steele for the third. The pass was delayed out to Buonanotte. By that time, Everton are set. In whipped Nikolenko. He covers ground so quickly, the Ukraine international.
Yeah, did well there. As you say, Jonathan, Sean Dyche, he likes his back four to play very narrow. He likes his full backs to almost be extra centre backs, and the wide players almost do the job of the full back. That's
a lovely ball to Mitoma, and a good recovering challenge by Nathan Patterson. Look at Jordan Pickford coming up, giving him a pat on the back. So too did Yerry Mina. They know the importance of Patterson stopping the Brighton danger man. This talented Japanese international they bought for just £3 million from Kawasaki Frontale. They're saying he's now worth 75-80 million. They put a high value on their players. So-and-so's going to come in and pluck so-and-so away in the summer. But Brighton's attitude is, okay, if you want the players, you've got to pay through the nose for them. Gross with the corner kick to the far side. Now was Dunk being held down in there. The Brighton fans think there should have been a penalty. The referee says no, and the assistant's flag came down. There's going to be a VAR check, I believe.
This is the ball whipped into that far post. Decoy and Lewis Dunk, well, it's a little bit of both, I think.
Yeah.
They're both grabbing each other. Mina's the one who actually heads it away in the end.
Quick check by Darren England in the VAR studio, and on we go. Correct decision. Brighton 3-0 down on 5 Live. What an end to a day that's already brought us that sensational topsy-turvy game between Fulham and Leicester, won 5-0 by the home side, and all those goals going in elsewhere in the Championship and League 2. Everton have it. McNeil, really good tempo of that game, got away from Caicedo and also Buonanotte. And Everton play forward down that left hand side. The pace of the ball beats McNeil, and it's going to be a goal kick. Everton have scored 10% of their entire Premier League goals this season in the first 35 minutes of this game. Well, thanks to Rob Notman, our producer, here today. You hear him at the big horse racing meetings at Cheltenham and so on. Don't follow his tips. Brighton have possession on the halfway line. Webster forward, looks for the run there of McAllister. Slightly overplayed, Everton clear. What a very, very good first half. Well, this will have blown away a few cobwebs amongst the doubters. They still have work to do, but I think any team down there in the bottom gets 2 wins, they'll stay up. Here's Unda for Brighton, attacking the box again. Low cross in there, stretching to get it away was the excellent Tarkowski, and Iwobi, as he drops his shoulder, goes inside. Estupiñán ran into him, letting Estupiñán could get out of the way. What's a foul? Free kick.
I think maybe a win and a draw might be enough, but he's done an excellent job, Iwobi, of just when crosses have come into the box, on the turn of the ball, just getting him in that kind of half-space position where he's able to turn. We started a lot of those Everton counter-attacks, never in their wildest dreams were they expected to be 3-0 up, 40 minutes gone, or just before half-time, sorry. Couldn't have gone any better for Everton. Superb first-half performance.
Would be such a rare away win for them. It would be their biggest away win of the campaign. They won 2-1 at Southampton, 1-0 at Fleetwood in the League Cup, beat Crystal Palace at home 3-0. So since then they've struggled so badly, and no Sean Dyche brought a little bit of a bounce when he first took over. They've had this run of 1 win in 11, which has been worrying. We're into, by the way, 3 minutes of stoppage time, and Brighton have possession. Buonanotte, the young man to Webster, takes it back again. Here's Pascal Gross. Buonanotte is out wide towards the right hand side, had to stretch from a very poor ball by Pascal Gross, and as he's come and he's found his man Buonanotte and trying to win it back. He's looked today to me an 18-year-old player.
Well, they've not quite been at it, Brighton, as a team in this first half. They have looked leggy, they have looked off the pace, misplaced kind of passes, defensively very open and vulnerable. And Everton, credit to them, they've been right at it, and they've been aggressive. Their approach has been really aggressive to not give Brighton time and space on the ball. So many recoveries, and they've looked really dangerous on the transition with the counter-attack, and have got their goals off the back of it.
Up towards Calvert-Lewin, the ball ran away from him. He's fouled his man Calvert-Lewin. Well, he's disparaging towards McAllister, who's on the deck, but it ran away from Calvert-Lewin. He gets a yellow card, can't understand why, but the ball ran away from him. He left it footed. Again, Sean Dyche complains to the fourth official about the consistency, or the lack of it I should say, with these decisions, but you can see from the replay it's a cautionable offence.
Yeah, Stud's showing, and Calvert-Lewin, his touch just gets away from him. McAllister comes in from the other side, wins the ball and just rakes those studs down the shin.
What a half this has been for Everton. Certainly take a little bit of pressure off their games to come. Manchester City at home, can't see anything from their. Wolves away, Wolves are safe, could be on the beach. Bournemouth at home, likewise on the last day. This is the pivotal one. Everton win this, I said before the ball was kicked, I think they'll stay up. Here's Calvert-Lewin. He has McNeil running to the left-hand side of the penalty area, pulls it back into the middle, could be another one. Great save there to deny Garner. Brighton all over the place, and Everton could have been 4-up. There might yet be. Here's Patterson on the right corner of the penalty area. In comes his cross. It's headed away. Brighton haven't defended as poorly as this, as an 11, for a long, long while. The half-time whistle is blown. against Sean Dyche's chuntering at an official, thinks they should have had a free kick later on. What they have had is 3 goals. Decore after 37 seconds, the fastest goal ever conceded by Brighton in the Premier League. He doubled their lead, Decore, and then McNeil forced an own goal, I think, off Steele, and they're in a commanding position. Danny Gabidon.
Outstanding. Everton absolutely outstanding in that first half. Yes, Brighton haven't quite been at it. Whether the game against Manchester United has taken a little bit out of their legs, I don't know. But look, Everton, let's give full credit to them. They've taken full advantage of it, and the balance that they've shown in that first half between defence and attack, Sean Dyche has got it absolutely spot on. Because you look at Brighton, they're a difficult team to play against tactically. It's difficult to set up against them. Do you press them high? Do you sit off? Do you allow them to play? But they've got that balance absolutely right in the first half. Abdoulaye Doucouré has been the star of the show for me in that first half. He's got his 2 goals, but the defensive work that Garner and Idrissa Gueye has done alongside him been absolutely superb, and they just can't believe it. I'm sure 3-0 up going in at half time. Brighton with an absolute mountain to climb second half to get back into this one.
They were woeful at home to Brighton. Brighton were brilliant. They won 4-1 that day. The roles have been reversed today, and it's Everton who lead 3-0 at the break. Well, Steve, he's making a statement right at the start of the second half. Roberto De Zerbi, he's making 4 changes. Colwell on, Ferguson on, March on, and Enciso is coming off. Buonanotte is one of the players who has not reappeared for the second half. It was a game too much for him, the youngster. I felt it just pass him by. Undab likewise, not really suited to that role, just off the front man. He'll be replaced by Evan Ferguson, who's such a startling young player, just 18 years of age, and already 8 goals this season, including 1 up at Goodison. Adam Webster is the one who's made way for Colwell. Just stay with me before I go to Danny, and I'll bring you details of all these substitutions. And the 4th player off for them is Danny Welbeck. So those are the substitutions for Brighton: Enciso, March, Ferguson and Colwell on. What do you make of those changes, Dan?
No surprises, Jonathan. I thought at least 2, because Brighton were not at it in that first half. Quadruple change from Roberto De Zerbi, so Everton need to be ready for that. They need to expect a reaction from Brighton. If Brighton can get an early goal start this second half, it really is game on. You're looking at that Garner chance right at the end of the first half to make it 4. That really would have been game over and difficult for Brighton to come back into it, but at 3, still not insurmountable.
They looked tired, really leggy, Brighton, and they look mentally jaded as well in their recent games. They've been to Wembley and lost on penalties. They were beaten at Forest, and they looked really tired that day. And then to reply in such a rousing fashion against, yes, it was a terrible Wolves side, but they'd hit 6 against them. And then to win against Manchester United in such late dramatic style on Thursday, that took a lot out of them, and they're in this second half 3-0 down and attacking the Everton goal away to our right hand side. I'll run you through the 2 teams in just a couple of moments as I've made adjustments to the Brighton Hove Albion side, but Everton have been absolutely superb here. That's their best 45 minutes of football, I would say, this campaign. Ferguson immediately on the ball for Brighton. Back it comes in to Caicedo and Gross out wide to the right hand side. We'll now have March playing for Brighton Hove Albion on the right. He tries to run his man. Mikolenko checks back again, wants to go again, gets the dead ball into the penalty area, pokes it in, looking for Gross, and Pickford gathers at the second attempt. Brighton from Brighton right at the start of the second half.
A good start from Brighton. Tony Marsh immediately into the game on this right hand side, twisting, turning, taking Mikolenko to the byline and drifting past him. He just prods the ball into that near post, looking for Pascal Gross. Pickford doing a good job in the end, gathering at the second attempt.
The name of Solly March is sung by the Brighton fans. The response he got against Wolves here, having missed the penalty at Wembley, was very touching and heartfelt. As a local lad, comes from just down the coast at Eastbourne. And Brighton have possession now, bringing it out with Cole, the man who's on loan from Chelsea, out to Mitoma on that far side. And in it comes then is Enciso outside the penalty area, and immediately the ball rolls away to March, and it's punched over by Pickford, not yet away. The Brighton fans thought there was a hand in there in the build-up. Everton should clear it away through Alex Iwobi. I'll give you their line-up first. Everton with Pickford in goal, then Patterson, Mina, Tarkowski and Mikolenko, Garner and Gueye holding in midfield. Then you've got Iwobi, Doucouré, who scored 2, McNeil, and Calvert-Lewin, and now the Brighton players turn to the referee and say, was there a handball in the build-up there?
Of course it will be checked. Not sure Mina could have done too much about it. And Cecil driving edge of the 8-yard box, ball drops to Evan Ferguson. It's Mina with a sliding challenge, and there's a chance for Solly March as the ball comes out to him on the right hand side. He doesn't quite connect with a shot as he would have liked. It's straight at Pickford. It's a decent save, but one you would expect him to make.
I think that's their first effort on target in the game. We've been playing 47 minutes. Their second half lineup to come to you in a moment. It's March down the right hand side. They trail 3-0 into Enciso, who's a player with bags of talent. Explosive goal. Saw him score recently away at Chelsea. It was a wonderful goal. Now March has a look for Enciso once again. He whips his cross in off McNeil. It's going to be a throw to Brighton. Stealing goal. Gross, Dunk, Cole and Estupinian. Now they're back four. Casado and McAllister holding. Then you got March and Enciso, Matoma and Ferguson for this second half. It's out wide to March. March slows the ball down. Is he going to go up through the gears? No, he plays it back to Gross. Hooks to the far post. Will it come in here to Ferguson? Half cleared away. Casado it's a sensible header down to Estupinian. And then Everton get it away. And Alex Iwobi will play it back then to his right fullback, and Patterson will clear. Iwobi, ever present this season, 38th start in a row for a player who has turned whatever the fortunes of Everton Football Club over the last 10 months, he's certainly turned his Everton career around in the last 18 months. Now Matoma has far side from us. It's a good ball by Gross as Brighton switch it. They're pouring on at the start of the second half, but they're 3-0 down. In comes a cross from Estupinian, loops up, and Pickford will gather and will look to clear it away.
I think for Everton it's about taking the second half in stages. You break the second half down. If you can get through the first 15-20 minutes unscathed, still at 3-0, it'll be very difficult for Brighton to come back into this game. If Brighton can get that early goal, then of course this game on. So Everton need to be ready. I'm sure Sean Dyche would have spoken about that at half time. Expect the response from the home team. Certainly started the second half much better.
Be a huge one this for Everton if they can win it with their games to come. Manchester City at home, yes, but then Wolves away and Bournemouth at home. You can see points in there. All of a sudden you can see Everton moving. If they pick up the points, they're expected to beyond the 34 point, maybe up to the 36 point, which has been the average for the last 8 seasons. We're talking about Southampton at half time. I don't think 10 points from their remaining 4 games would be enough. I think they need 11, which of course means they'll have to win all 4 of their games and bring in 12. And can't see that happening. Here's Gross with an angled ball to the edge of the penalty area, and it will be cleared away. 10 points will take Southampton to 34. No, I'm not too sure that will be enough. They got Forest away tonight, Fulham at home, Brighton away, and Liverpool at home, and we'll have updates on that Forest-Southampton game in the Monday Night Club. The Chappers. Gross strokes a pass to the right touchline. March on the line, level the edge of the Everton penalty area, rolls inside, then checks again. Mikolenko just in front of him, jockeying him, rolls it into the penalty area. Gross is there. McNeil, almost inevitably, is back covering for Everton and deflects it away for a corner. It's had a stonking game, Dwight McNeil. Short corner. Gross floats it into the middle, zips on through the box. Spoke to a couple of Everton people at half time, who long-suffering Everton supporters who've travelled home and away with them for years and years and years, and they said we are the masters of self-explosion. So you never know what might happen, but it's a tall order for this one.
Yeah, just looking at Sean Dyche out in the technical area, just asking for concentration from his players. He realises that it's a real important period of the game. We're going to start the second half ever so well. Just asking for that concentration, focus from his players to kind of get through this difficult period.
Now here's Gross, half inside the Everton half, training 3-0 Brighton. Just pushes the ball out to Solly March, holds up the challenge of Mikolenko. It's passed up towards Ferguson, forced the young Irishman to stretch. But Brighton retain possession, and Matoma on that far side tries to take on Nathan Patterson, who got a challenge in him. By and large, as the game has gone on, he's stuck to his task well. Spoke to a couple of Brighton people who travel home and away with the club, and they said couldn't understand why young Billy Gilmore wasn't playing, because if he was holding alongside Casado, McAllister could play a higher role. McAllister's now into the box quite high, but the angled pass drilled into him. Had a little bit too much pace and it just zips through to the goalkeeper.
And it's been a really good battle out on that far side now. It is Patterson up against Matoma, and I think in general I'd probably say Patterson has got the better of him. It's almost like he's come into this game, Nathan Patterson, saying I'm just going to be aggressive. Every time Matoma gets the ball I'm going to get tight to him, I'm going to challenge him. And of course, if you have that kind of mentality, there will be moments where Matoma gets the better of you because of the quality that he has. But on the whole, I'd say he's done a really good job of keeping him quiet.
And Ciso for Brighton, they've had all the second half possession, but they trail 3-0. March knows that Gross is arriving. Gross pounds the turf between the penalty box and the right-hand touchline, 5 yards from the dead ball line, and nudges it backward a square, 10 yards to Moises Caicedo. Man linked constantly with a move away, Tottenham or Arsenal or Liverpool. Now it's Enciso with a little spin and a lovely jaunty run, pushes it into the box. Ferguson, the challenge running by Mykolenko, and Ferguson leans in on the back of the Ukraine international and concedes a free kick to Everton, and the correct decision.
Yeah, brilliant full-back play, brilliant defending. Enciso initially twisting, turning, dances away from Augusto Gay, and he just feeds the ball. He's trying to release Ferguson inside the 18-yard box, but that's exactly why you have your full-backs narrow. So if he's not now there, Ferguson's in on goal, he's getting the shot away, he's just covering his centre-back there. Mykolenko tracks the run, even draws the foul in the end as well. Excellent defending.
Pascal Gross has come across down below us to speak to the fourth official, Graham Scott, and saying moments ago, why wasn't Calvert-Lewin cautioned? Calvert-Lewin actually threw him off the pitch, the Brighton defender. They're holding each other, but he absolutely threw him off the pitch like a WWF wrestler being thrown out of the ring, and the referee didn't even give a free kick or anything. But anyway, Calvert-Lewin has been exceptional for Everton. He's won that in the air, but his header to Iwobi was misplaced, and Matoma nudges the ball to Alexis McAllister, who finds on that left-hand side Estupiñán. Big word for Everton. They've stopped Estupiñán having an effect coming forward down the Brighton left. He's crucial for them. Now Gross on the right, finds the touchline. March drops his shoulder, rolls inside Mykolenko, cuts it into the penalty area. Gross couldn't get the shot away. Look at the pink shirts back in there, Daniel. Just look at them.
Done a superb job of that, Everton. In and around the 18-yard box, as you say, Jonathan, getting bodies. Lots of bodies back in those central areas, and as Brighton players looking to play to the central areas, I find it very, very difficult.
It's a free kick to Brighton for a foul by Calvert-Lewin. Decore stopped them taking the free kick, which is, I would say, 7-8 yards inside the Everton half and on the right-hand side of centre. And Decore gets a yellow card, and again the Everton bench, 3 of them, 3 strong. Steve Stone, I think it's Ian Wone down there, and Sean Dyche went to the fourth official and protested, and they've kept up a running dialogue with him, let's just say. Matoma has it on the left, then 5 live from the BBC. Everton 3 to the good. Matoma whips across into the box. Big Yerry Mina got up there. Gross picks up the ball as it dropped out of the penalty area just outside the box. To his left he found Caicedo and Matoma, right foot bending across in the middle. It's an impressive header away by Tarkowski, who's had a really strong game for Everton at the back. Gay brings it down. He's pulled back by Ferguson, didn't need to make the challenge. Free kick to Everton just outside the D. 3-0 up.
You'd think if Brighton want to service the box with crosses, going to be quite happy with that. Yerry Mina, James Tarkowski, big physical presences back there. That's their game really, getting themselves in those positions where those crosses come in to get those first contacts, and been very good at that up until this point. Mina coming into the team.
It's the Brighton coaching staff turns out to go at the poor old fourth official. Who'd be a fourth official really? You'd end up with earache, and because they're thinking that Everton were taking too much time over there. We're very low down here. You get a different perspective here when you're working up on the TV gantry, which is much higher. The speed of the game is electrifying, and Brighton have it now. And Gross to the right side, and March has Enciso just inside him, didn't use him, now goes up through the gears, taking on Mykolenko on the outside. Rode the challenge, needs support. Everton fans behind the goal thought it was out of play for a goal kick. March has won it back here for Brighton, and is then just had his shirt tugged by McNeil as he turned. McNeil will think it's a soft one. I thought there was contact in the free kick for Brighton.
Yeah, I thought it was a little bit soft as well. Did well initially, O'Neill, to get back and help Mykolenko. Nicks the ball back of Solly March, and then he's got nowhere to go really. He's penned in the corner. March wins it back and minimal contact there.
That is soft. That is soft, isn't it?
Legs just going from underneath Solly March. The linesman's right there as well. Can't have a better view than what he's got.
Gross will take the free kick for Brighton, trailing 3-0. They need an early goal. They need a miracle to get that. This will be one of the great Premier League comebacks on 5 Live. Gross into the penalty area. I think that's a goal kick. I think it went off Ferguson. No! The assistant referee said it came off Mikolenko. It's a corner ball then to Brighton, way to our right hand side in front of the travelling Everton fans who've taken up, I would say, 7/8 of the north stand. It is away to our right hand side, and it's going to be a corner that Gross will take again. Bends it away from goal. Mitoma was in there to hop. The rain comes down heavier now, and Brighton switch the play back to the right from whence it came. Cacheda, good ball to Gross. Brought it down, now releases to March. He'll have a shot from here. No, he won't. He checks back again. Could have had a shot. Gross bends it into the penalty. Ferguson's header. It's fouled by the goalkeeper. The flag's up anyway. It won't count. Good stop, mind you, Jordan Pickford.
What a save. Low down to his right. Excellent delivery from his right hand side from Pascal Gross into that far post area where Brighton create that overload. It was very close on the offside, and it's Ferguson with a header. Excellent save from Pickford down to his right. He obviously didn't know he was going to be called offside, but a really strong right hand diving low to his right.
That's a terrific save. He'll be annoyed he won't go into the history books because did it hit the post as well there?
Yeah, just palmed it onto the post.
Won't count. Offside. 233 games now for Everton after the £25 million move from Sunderland. Brighton have it. A little touch off by Ferguson, was a little bit too cutesy. He's won it back again. He will work for everything, Evan Ferguson. Bettystown in the Republic of Ireland, for whom he's played 4 times, very much their future, according to Irish football journalist. The world is his oyster, said Tony Bloom about him, the Brighton owner and chairman. Here's March giving Mikolenko a bit of a torrid opening to the second half, but Mikolenko has the benefit of McNeil doubling up. McNeil came back, has conceded a corner kick, but he has worked prodigiously on that Everton left-hand side, knows the methods of Sean Dyche from Burnley days. Sean Dyche knows him in and out, knows how to get the best of that player. He's a very good manager, is the Everton boss. An hour played, his team leads 3-0. Their best away day of the season by a long shot. In will come that corner kick. Pickford might have got something on it. Mina might have got something on it. It's another corner though, Danny.
Yeah, he's going to have to continue to do that, Dwight McNeil. Solly March coming on this right hand side. He's looking to give Mikolenko a bit of a roast, and he's gone past him on 2 or 3 occasions, and it's been Dwight McNeil coming back to the rescue on 2 or 3 occasions, so he has to continue to help out his full-back.
Corner kick for Brighton, far side from us. Pascal Gross takes it, McAllister flicked it on, Colwell was in there. Everton stretched to get it away. Tarkovsky's header. The first to react is Dunk, who plants a sensible header to his right, lofted into the box by March, and Everton cleared away and remain 3-0 in front here. An astonishing scoreline which will take them out of the relegation positions with their games to come. Let's remind you once again, Manchester City at home, then Wolves away and Bournemouth at home. Here's Cacheda. I think it's going to be very, very tight to the last day. Leicester, Leeds and Forest. This will be a huge result though for Everton, that most people would not have factored this into their remaining games.
Well, I think not just the result, but the manner of the result, the manner of the performance as well. If they can keep it to 3-0, will give them massive amounts of confidence going into the remaining games, and obviously demoralise, I think, the teams around them as well. Wins at this stage of the season so important.
March though for Brighton, infield, edge of the box. Cacheda looks in there for Enciso with the lob ball. Enciso brings it down under pressure from Mikolenko. Really good intense pressure there, helped out by Decore, who stole it away. And it's interesting that Everton have 1 or 2 players in there for the cause, and Brighton just left little Enciso by himself. And here's a throw to Brighton on the halfway line. Brighton 0, Everton 3. Sorry, Danny.
I was just going to say, you feel there's going to be a different type of performance obviously needed by Everton this second half. Brighton now heavily on top. Substitutes have certainly improved their performance, and they find it quite difficult now, Everton, to get out of their half. We're not seeing as many of those blistering counter-attacks as we saw in the first half, so it'll be very much about keeping that defensive shape and just being diligent and really difficult to break down.
Brighton switch it, spread it to the right hand side. March drops his shoulder, goes inside. Mikalenko will shoot this time, and it's blocked by the head of Yeremina on the edge of his 6-yard area, and Jordan Pickford is screaming as defenders not to let Solly March inside like that. Everton are wobbling a little bit, but they are holding firm as yet at 3-0 to the good. Brighton follow this up with away games at Arsenal and Newcastle before their final 2 matches here against Southampton and Manchester City in that last day trip to Aston Villa. They will stay in a European qualification position despite this result tonight. In 7th, they would be a point ahead of Aston Villa. They still have 2 games in hand on the Midlands club. It would be a real setback for them. Here's McAllister. They want the European position booked and sorted before they go to Villa Park on that last day. Don't want to do anything there. Or have to do anything, I should say. McAllister for Brighton. Looks left as a misunderstanding as Estupinian came in from that left-hand side. The ball was played behind him. Goal kick Everton. They lead 3-0, 63 on the clock on 5 Live.
Just a little bit too easy for Solly March to come inside on his left foot there. Mikalenko's going to allow him inside. There needs to be another man there in close attendance. On that occasion there wasn't. And that shot was fined in the far corner, but excellent from Yeremina. Instinctive, gets himself down the line of the shot.
Goal kick that Pickford will take. And tonight at 7:30, the Monday Night Club. Mark Chapman with him tonight. Rory Smith as usual, and Sebastian Bassong is in there as well, the former Newcastle and Tottenham defender and Norwich defender. He had spells at Watford and Wolves. I think he was at Peterborough. I'm not too sure whether he played for them. He was there. Might tell you a little bit later on. I've got a feeling he was at Peterborough for a while. But he's in the studio with them, debating all the weekend's football and today's football. Fulham 3-0 up against Leicester. He made a real game of it, lost 5-3, and Jamie Vardy squandered a penalty as well. Real dent that for Leicester in their quest to stay away from relegation. Ferguson for Brighton, good touch, and a second one, a nearly an explosive finish, and that is Evan Ferguson in a nutshell. First touch for a 19-year-old, an 18-year-old was so confident. Second touch was equally astute. Weaved his way past the defender, and the shot took a deflection and over the bar. Super bit of play.
Yeah, I think it's a save from Pickford, possibly outstanding save as well. Brilliant play from the youngster. Skip away from Mina.
Lovely save. In comes the cross. Oh, it's the woman this time. McAllister twisted, got his head to the ball. Brighton so close, back in looking for McAllister, headed away by Calvert-Lewin. Much better here from Brighton. Everton can't get out. They think they should have had a free kick there. But one of the Brighton players jumping into their man. Ferguson from a deeper position outside the penalty area, cuts it into McAllister, loops it to that far side, 3-0 Everton lead. But Brighton here with all the pressure on the Everton goal. McAllister into the penalty area, diving header away from Yeremina. His chances have been so limited as an Everton player. Only his 4th game of the season. In comes a higher lofted cross this time, and it's just wide. Header plops just wide. The goalkeeper might have been beaten. McAllister was in there. It was Dunk who headed the ball. It was a lovely ball back in, and Brighton are getting closer and closer.
Well, they can feel really unlucky not to have got a goal from those 2 or 3 chances there, Brighton. McAllister initially from the corner, free header, flicks it on, looking for that far post, comes off the bar. Brilliant save before that from Pickford from the Henderson shot. And then Dunk there with a header. Yeremina just doing enough. Ferguson, sorry, I should say, with a header, with the shot off the bar. Henderson's. And then Lewis Dunk inches away with a header. Yeremina just doing enough on the far post under big pressure there.
Brighton have made the 4 half-time changes. Don't forget, they'll hesitate to make a tactical change just in case there's an injury, but time is ticking away. 24 minutes to go, and they're reminding the referee of that as Jordan Pickford takes a little while before he takes his goal kick downfield. Any goalkeeper away from home leading 3-0 would do the same. Roberto De Zerbi says to the 4th official down there, why didn't you speed him up? They very rarely do. And Brighton have possession. Here's Gross now over the halfway line. Ambles into the Everton half. Name the goalkeeper you've seen sent off for 2 yellow cards, both for time wasting. If you can name a goalkeeper who has been, then you've got a great memory, because I can't remember one. Gross out wide to the right hand side. March back into the penalty area. Gross to the dead ball line, right side, spins on it, chops across the walls, that fast post. Mina again stretches that elastic frame. He's a big man at 6'5" and got it away. Straight out to Mitoma. Brighton come again. Caicedo, plumb dead centre, veers to his left into the edge of the box. McAllister quickly away. It's a half a chance. Comes to Estupinian, closed by Idrissa Gueye. It's another corner. Can Everton withstand this for the remaining 22 minutes? It would be extraordinary if they can. Short corner taken again. Pressure relentless. March is crossed to the far post and has drifted on through too far ahead of Colwell, and just seen how to play for a goal kick. A goal kick and a little bit of time for Everton to relieve the pressure.
And that's exactly what they need to do, Jonathan. They need to withstand the pressure. They've got the 3 goals. They don't need to go hunting another. Those Everton counter-attacks are going to be few and far between now. There's going to be very much a defensive job, backs against the wall, just looking to hang on to what they've got. Up until this point, 68 minutes gone, still 3-0.
Goldovich, by the way, is now minus 22. Southampton's is minus 32. So is Forest, Leeds 25, minus 25, and Leicester's minus 14. It's still tense spaces amongst Everton fans we're seeing behind the goal, and Everton fans have led a life of glass half empty for many a year now. Let's be honest. Trials and tribulations of a club that when I was a young boy were a wonderful team, and FA Cup finals, and then of course the great team that won the league and made it through to Europe, a great team that was denied European success by the bad for English clubs. But if you ever saw Harvey Kendall and Ball play, you were lucky, because that was one of the greatest midfield combinations I've ever seen play. The great days of Everton. Here's Dunk out wide towards the right hand touchline to Solly March. March has possession. Back it goes to his captain again. Lewis Dunk, local lad. Lives not far from me actually, just over the Downs. Just moved recently actually. Colwell with a long ball into the penalty area. Jordan Pickford gathers. I think Lewis Dunk realised he was living not far away from me, and then decided to move. Pickford would look to clear it away. Pickford would look to clear it away. It's 3-0 up now, Everton. What an outstanding day it would be for them, and you can bet your bottom dollar the manager won't get carried away. No, not 1 inch. There's work still to be done, and plenty of it. This is only the first step. Rolled away to Lewis Dunk, and bring the ball forward now comfortably for Brighton. 5 live from the BBC, with so much football to come, of course, with the European Champions League semi-finals tomorrow. Real Madrid, Manchester City, the first leg, and on Wednesday, AC against Inter Milan. Colwell for Brighton and Hove Albion. Tipped to go all the way and become a full England international. He's an under-21, played recently against France. Caicedo, lovely ball out to Enciso. Nikolenko gobbles him up. He's had trouble with Sonny March, but that was easier for him. March had gone infield. It's not held up by Calvert-Lewin. That's been a rarity. Caicedo to Gross, allowed to veer the ball away to the centre of midfield. McAllister needs options. They're stooping in round the corner. They're making slow progress. They've gone very narrow. That's where the massive pink shirts belonging to Everton are situated. So they come out wide to the right. March again, he's proving elusive. And the pass to Pascal Gross, misread, and just trickles away and out of play. And without a Deserbi, some urgency down there.
Just looking at this Everton team, just the energy levels dropping a little bit. They put a lot of work in off the ball, that kind of defensive shape, and certainly they're full of energy and vibrancy. First half got their goals, second half they're having to really put a shift in to keep this Brighton team at bay, and just seeing those energy levels drop a little bit, just dropping a little bit deeper now as a team. Need to keep that focus, so that concentration. Be interesting to see if Sean Dyche thinks about maybe freshening things up from the bench, just to bring a bit more energy, a bit more life back into the side, but maybe a reluctance to change anything at the minute with it going so well.
Brighton looked for Solly March. Roberto De Zerbi and Andrew Crofts, one of his assistants, former Brighton player of Crofts, down there giving instructions to March moments ago. Gross now finds him again. Mikolenko had stood 5 yards off and plays into Gross. Onto Enciso, and Tarkovsky come across to cover. A little bit scrambled in there as first of all Brighton picked it up, gave away possession. Everton failed to clear, they now do. McNeil down the right hand touchline over the halfway line. Calvert-Lewin all alone. Momentarily he was the only Everton player in the Brighton half, so he held it up well. Tucks it back up the line then to Dwight McNeil. Down the line again, Calvert-Lewin has turned Colwell as effortlessly as he turned Lewis Dunk a couple of times in the first half. And as he went to pick up a loose ball, he's blocked off the ball actually by Alexis McAllister. Calvert-Lewin has had an excellent game. So has McNeil. Everton holding possession and just relieving a little bit of pressure as they got a free kick now, and with this free kick we'll go up to the City Ground. Forest Southampton, your team news from Conor McNamara. Brighton have possession on the halfway line. Down the line it goes. Mitoma, they trail 3-0. Mitoma has it, rolls in from the left touchline. Back it comes to McAllister, 10 yards of space in which to play. Having a look, walking pacey McAllister, a little bit faster perhaps as he angles a pass 25 yards away to Solly March. March well balanced, arms to his side, well braced as a wide player. Now back it comes then to Estupiñán. He's crossed towards the far post area. He's looking in there for Pascal Gross, who's played much higher in the second half, and Mikolenko headed it away. It's a corner kick and it's taken quickly, and Everton switched off, and the manager is fuming at that. In comes across from Casado, backward header, brilliant save, super save to deny Alex McAllister, second super save from him in this second half. Jordan Pickford
just trying to rally the troops. Sean Dyche and Rome just switching off from the corner, as you say, Jonathan. They take it short, whipped into that near post. Excellent save from Pickford, diving to his left again.
In comes the corner for Brighton towards the near post, and Wobie got it away. Everton hard pressed, working so hard. That's a poor ball in by March on the Brighton right hand side, and Everton can break, and they've got an overload of 3-2. March going back has pulled his hamstring. He's out of the game, you would have thought. Iwobi has possession now. Into the box it goes. It comes to McNeil. Slide challenge. He's going to walk it into the net. And Everton are 4-0 up. And Brighton are undone by a cruel injury to Solly March, who in trying to chase back down that left hand side pulled up with what looked like a hamstring injury. McNeil went on into the penalty area, eluded Casado. A diving, sliding challenge was attempted on him by Lewis Dunk. He walks beyond it, out came Steele. He walks beyond that and walked it into the back of the net. How about this for a scoreline on this Bank Holiday Monday on 5 Live? Brighton and Hove Albion, so impressive, chasing Europe, 0. Everton, so wretched for so long this season, 4. It's outrageously outstanding for Everton.
Well, probably the first counter-attack we've seen from Everton this second half. It really has been backs against the wall. It's been all Brighton pushing, trying to get back into the game. And certainly the injury to Solly March plays a part in this goal. It actually comes from a Brighton corner, and Solly March giving the ball away with a sloppy ball, and he's trying to get back in and recover. And he actually pulls his hamstring, and that allows Iwobi to release himself down the left-hand side. McNeil just makes a run down the side of the 18-yard box, and you're thinking he's going to shoot, and he just chops it back onto his right, sells Lewis Dunk and the goalkeeper at the same time, and he just strokes it home into an empty net, no more than 3 or 4 yards out. Everton 4-0, that is game over.
That is a super finish, so accomplished. Just took a while to settle as an Everton player after the relegation with Burnley. Few eyebrows raised, £20 million, but reunited with his former Burnley manager. He's been exceptional today. Brighton have had to make their 5th change. Solly March is off, and that will be a blow to them if he misses the rest of the season. Billy Gilmour is on for the remaining 13 minutes when Brighton are looking for no more than consolation. This their worst day in the Premier League this season, and their worst day here at the Amex for a long, long while.
We have to say he probably deserves that goal. Dwight McNeil, been an outstanding performance from him, more so on the defensive side. He's had to work so hard defensively for the team. I'm surprised he had the energy to get in that forward position and the composure then to finish like that. It's absolutely outstanding. Gets in front of goal, fakes the shoot, sits the goalkeeper and Lewis Dunk down at the same time, and just rolls it into an empty net. It's the icing on the cake for Everton, who really is the fourth goal. That breathing space now.
Well, Brighton looking for consolation at possession. They've conceded as many goals in 78 minutes here as they have in their previous 8 home games. Here's Billy Gilmour. The only thing, the fitness stats are against him. Why he didn't start, because he's been very good in the last couple of games, and that's what he can do, spray the ball out. Good ball away to Gross. Gross finds Enciso for Brighton. They surely can't come back from this with 12 minutes to go and 4-0 down. Then comes his cross to the penalty area. Well, they've got one. They've got one back. Lovely cross towards the far post area. Pickford's appealing for offside. It's Matoma was arriving on the far side of the penalty area, who may have bundled it in. McAllister was up in support and Ferguson was in the middle. It's a lovely ball towards the far post. It's aimed at Matoma, who was standing in an offside position, got himself back onside. In comes the cross. McAllister stretched out a leg. It hit Matoma, bounced back, hit McAllister and went in over the line. Most curious goal, but Brighton are on the score sheet and they lead, and Everton's lead is cut to 4-1. Well, you know, McAllister's arm, you know, that's why they're checking it.
Yeah, it's a real strange one. Excellent delivery from Pascal Gross from this near side into a really dangerous area. Difficult one for Patterson to deal with. McAllister initially on the stretch. I think it actually hits the post. Comes back to Matoma. And then as McAllister's on the floor, almost hits the back of Matoma, I think, or McAllister, and goes in. Really difficult one to figure out. And it's Matoma who gets there first. McAllister on the stretch, hits the post, comes back out. McAllister's on the floor. I think it actually then hits him and goes in. They're just checking this one. Possible offside.
Goal given. The goal is given. Everton will think there was a possible offside. Well, if the defender's bracing his body with his hand as he falls and the ball hits it, it's not a penalty. Well, he wasn't bracing his body there, McAllister. He had no idea the ball was going to hit him. He was slithering in. Came back off the post, hit him at point blank range. Back in the day, it wouldn't have even been questioned. It's not going to affect the result here, I'm sure. Or am I? It's 4-1. Hang on. Here's Gross. But McAllister does get the goal. Matoma was actually unlucky that it came back off the post. Far side from us, it was very difficult to see. Here's Matoma now, 4-1, Everton's lead. It'll go down as McAllister's 12th goal of the season. Dunk out wide to Gross. McAllister being linked with a move here, there and everywhere, although I read a report in one of the online magazines this week that Liverpool have said they have made no contact with Brighton for him in the summers, according to much of the speculation. Now Estupinha. Infield to Billy Gilmour, tries to pick a pass again to Caicedo, just deflected away of Calvert-Lewin, poorly cleared by Everton, who now begin to look tired themselves. The shot, wrong decision, Caicedo. But it took a deflection. Now, I have to admit from here, I don't think that was deflected. I think it just steered wide. We'll have a look at the replay.
As Caicedo with a shot, I can't really see any deflection there.
No, should have been a goal kick taken very short. They have taken these short corners throughout the game, Brighton. I just think that was wide by Caicedo, and he had players available to his right hand side as well. How many of these brilliant young Brighton players will they keep? How many will they cash in on? What can they do here? They have a corner, the ball is headed away by Nathan Patterson back inside his 6-yard area from a deep cross. Everton lead at Brighton by 4-1 with 8 minutes to go. Mission improbable. Gross takes it. High hoist towards the far post. Matoma absolutely leathered that volley towards the far post area. Colwell was running in. Had he made full contact, Colwell might have taken his head off.
Yeah, I don't think he knew anything about it, to be honest with you. That can't happen. Yeah, can't happen from an Everton point of view though. A deep cross to the far post and Matoma on his own flashes that back across goal on the volley, and Colwell's just running in. It just hits him on the shoulder. He's so much pace on it, he just can't react quick enough.
Cutaway there of a Brighton fan, gentleman, frustrated that went by a little lad in front of him who was more interested in drinking his hot chocolate. 4-1 Everton lead on 5 line. And it's away towards the far side. That's what I remember about going to games when I was a little lad down at Ashton Gate. You know, I remember the smell of the place. I remember the smell of the Bovril. I remember the smell of that Football League review you used to get in the middle of the programmes. The pull-out. I don't know how many of you can remember that, listen to Five. I remember the smell of it. You used to see articles about people like Alan Birchnell and all these mythical players from the top flight. I supported a team that was never going to get to the top flight. Did for a while and then ended up 92nd in the Football League. Not so long later. Here's Matoma towards the dead ball line on that far side. Into the penalty area. Well marshalled by Patterson. And he lifts the ball away, and for Brighton, well, Colwell was very well placed to get across because it was dropping to Calvert-Lewin, who's just tired in this second half as it's gone on. I think Everton are going to make a change. Gross for Brighton. Nikolenko got a touch. First to it is Gross. Gay is tiring. They put in such a shift here. Everton, will it have an effect on their next game then? That game they play at Manchester City? Or they concentrate on the final two games, Wolves away and Bournemouth at home. Dangerous that. Got to pick up points where you can. Dunk into the penalty area. Glanced away by Patterson. Your views on Nathan Patterson?
I think he's been outstanding. Look, Matoma's had his moments. You'd expect that with the quality that he has, but he has stuck to his task really well.
Another short corner, another cross into the box. Came off Tarkowski, who's been a giant at the back for Everton. Cleared away by Decore's the first two goals in the game set the pattern, and Cisse gets a cross back into the middle. Firm header away by Calvert-Lewin, back just outside his 6-yard area. Shot by Gilmour, charged down. McNeil will race off after it, and the race is won by Estepinian. Rolled out by Jason Steele. An own goal goes down against his name. He deflected a Dwight McNeil cross into his own net just past the half hour. Brighton looked for Ferguson on the edge of the penalty area. His touch led him down there. Plenty for him to learn, of course. He's only 18 and such an exciting talent. Decore heads out for Everton to McNeil, tight to the right touchline, just inside his own half. Ball rolled out of play. And it's going to be a throw that Gross will take. And Everton are going to make a change. Neil Mopay will come on. Well, it'll be interesting to hear the reaction for the former Brighton player. And also Onana will come up. He was ill at the weekend. Was Amadou Onana. Couldn't play, but he's been a regular this season. Cross towards the right side of the Everton penalty area. McAllister had got up. It's too far away from much better player McAllister in that advanced position in the 10 role. Here come the changes then for Everton, and Onana will come on. Amadou Onana, who started 12 of the last 14 league games, signing from Lille back in the summer for 34 million, and I don't think it's a surprise he's replacing Idrissa Gueye, who was tired in recent minutes, but in the first 10 minutes or so put in a huge shift. Here's the welcome for Neil Mopay as he replaces Dominic Calvert-Lewin. He scored 27 goals in 109 games for Brighton. Great reaction for Calvert-Lewin as he goes off from the Everton fans and for Idrissa Gueye. And belatedly on comes the large figure, the tall figure, Amadou Onana at 6'4", and Neil Mopay. And one or two bits of applause from around us from the Brighton fans. Not been a great move for him so far. 1 goal, 5 starts in 2023, 90 minutes this season for Neil Mopay. What do you think of the changes?
Well, you can say that for a fair few of Everton's signings over the last couple of seasons, I would say. But important to get fresh legs on. You know, we mentioned those energy levels of Everton dropping a little bit deeper now as a team, not getting up to the ball as quick. So you would expect that they put a real shift in this Everton side this afternoon, particularly in that kind of midfield area. Idrissa Gueye's been excellent. Decore, probably the standout player for me. Dwight McNeil on this left-hand side.
Colwell to Estepinian. Brighton are still trying. Here's Matoma with 3 minutes to go. They trail by 4 goals to 1. Tarkowski heads it away, drops here to Gross, but Caicedo looked tired as Decore whipped him with a challenge. It breaks away then to Cisse. Little gap opened up for him. Wanted an extra touch. Gap closed. McAllister to Gross. Now back to Billy Gilmour. Brighton fans getting restless. Lewis Dunk, will he have a shot? Crosses into the middle. Bounced off Matoma. Oh, and another super save by Pickford to deny Evan Ferguson this time. What a half he's had, the goalkeeper.
I'm just looking at Yanni Mina still down on the floor. I think he's just stretching off with a bit of cramp, but I think he maybe wants to foul as well as that cross comes in. There's almost the meat in the sandwich, and the ball just drops down to Evan Ferguson. He's just off balance and just falling over, and he's not able to get enough power on the strike, which allows Pickford to get down to his left-hand side and make a decent save again.
Gross takes the corner kick back to Gilmour, edge of the penalty. His shot is blocked inside the box by Onana. Second cross back in Estupiñán. Out comes Pickford to punch. Drops it here to Caceres. Pickford found his man inside the penalty area. That has to be checked. A Brighton player has gone down. Everton will look to break away at 4-1 up. But Pickford is absolutely enraged at the Brighton man who went down inside the penalty area. Might well have been McAllister, who's picked himself up, trots back. The Brighton fans left in the ground. There are huge swathes of empty blue seats. We're booing that decision. It wasn't referred to VAR, hasn't been yet. And Dunk angles to the right hand touchline. What do you think? Was it a penalty?
Well, that's what I'd like to see again. Cross comes in, Pickford comes a long way, can only get a punch, and it ball drops down, and then he panics because he's trying to get back into his goal really quickly, and he turns around and Alexis McAllister's right there, and it's definitely the arm kind of comes out, barges into him, pushes him over. Don't know what he's doing, the aggression on his face as well. I'm just looking at the replays, desperately trying to get back into his goal, and that arm comes out and just barges him over.
How is that not a penalty?
Oh, how can that not get looked at?
I don't think it would impact on the result. We've got 30 seconds to go, but how is that not a penalty, and why did he do it? He's had rushes of blood to the head in the past, but he's matured as a goalkeeper, been brilliant for England, but that was just plain daft. Now Brighton have it. Dunk to the right touchline with an angled pass. Gross whips it in, left-footed into the box. Commanding header away by Mina. Here's a stupid. They've had so much possession of the ball, Brighton of Albion. It's been a story of their season. They do have their customary goal, but as we enter stoppage time, we'll have 6 minutes of it, by the way. I've not seen them cut apart defensively as Everton have today this season. Can they get the ball into the box? Backheel by Ferguson, and the shot looped over the bar from the off-balance Moises Caicedo.
I think from a Brighton point of view, just about hitting the reset button. Bad day at the office. You just can't start Premier League games the way that they did. They're really lacklustre, sloppy, open defensively. And credit to Everton because they were very clinical with the chances presented to them. It was just a result that they'll just have to get over very quickly. They have those games in hand. Brighton, you were very much still on the cards for them. The other half of Merseyside might be happy seeing this result as well, the position Liverpool are in, but just left themselves too much to do, Brighton, with that poor first half performance.
And Ciso pressurising Mikolenko did enough, stood up to it. It's through to Jordan Pickford, who flops on the ball and will take his time. In fourth place Manchester United have 63 points from 34, Liverpool 62 from 35, Tottenham 57 from 35, Brighton 55 from 33 now, and Villa 54 from 35. They still will have the two games in hand on Aston Villa, but they are games at Newcastle and here against Manchester City, and they go to Villa. It is still in their hands to get into Europe for the first time ever. They have possession now on the far side from us. It's young Billy Gilmour who has it. Gilmour to the left touchline. The Everton fans are singing. They've waited so long for a day like this that gives them light at the end of the tunnel. And Ciso heads it into the box. Gross now. Gross spinning. Can he get a cross in? It's deflected away by McNeil, who I think has just been named. I couldn't quite hear the announcement. Named as man of the match in the ground. If so, thoroughly deserved.
Yeah, gets my vote, Jonathan.
And it's going to be a corner kick that Gross takes. Comes to the far post and bounced inadvertently off the toe. That sort of sums up Brighton and Hove Albion's day, and they will have to pick themselves up here, and they may need something from those two away trips, Arsenal away and Newcastle United away.
Been a busy schedule for Brighton. We have seen Deserbi kind of rotate a little bit in recent games, and they have looked a little bit leggy this afternoon. Really important for them to kind of just reset and get over this performance quickly. You'd probably much rather have the points on the board than the games in hand, but as you say, still very much in their hands in terms of playing European football next season.
And Cisse for Brighton. Mikolenko's played well, got beyond him this time. McAllister freed into the more attacking role since the arrival of Billy Gilmore. Just listen to the Everton fans. They lead 4-1 in stoppage time. Gilmore for Brighton. Dunk. They know that goal difference might make a difference in the end. Brighton for European qualification. They want to end the game on something of a high. And that's headed away through his own penalty area by the towering Yeremina. Good return to the first team for him. And the ball is back inside the Brighton half. Where Steele plays it forward, passes it 20 yards to Dunk, striding into the Everton half, screws a pass into McAllister, edge of the D, quickly confronted there by Mina. They've been quick to close in that sort of area, Everton, all day long, and they'll break here, and they've got a 3-on-3. It will be far side from us. Carries it with purpose, plays into Moper, little back heel onto Decore. Decore hesitates and is beaten for possession, and Cisse will run away from him. And Cisse to the halfway line. McNeil tracks him, McNeil wins it back. That sums up his performance, and the applause from his manager tells him what Sean Dyche thinks of that performance.
Absolutely outstanding performance from Dwight McNeil. Got the goal that he deserved, but his defensive work, his energy levels, there again, 90 plus minutes, tracking and Cisse winning the ball back for his team. He has been absolutely superb.
Monday Night Club this evening will be discussing all that. Champions League football, Real Madrid, Manchester City tomorrow. The All Milanese semi-final on Wednesday. Big week of football for you on 5 Live. As Pascal Gross up to the edge of the penalty area, McAllister forlorn header on. Don't forget Brighton have also lost Solly March, who they introduced, making 4 substitutions at half-time, but he went off with a hamstring injury, costing the 4th goal actually. They lacked bodies back in covering. We're into the last minute of stoppage time, so an expensive afternoon here for Brighton, and a wonderful afternoon for Everton if they can get one more win from the remaining games. Home game against Bournemouth on the last weekend of the season, or at Wolves, or Manchester City at home. You doubt, but you never know if they perform as well as they did in the opening 15 minutes here and catch City goal. If they can get one more win, I think that'll do it for them, and they'll be cleared by maybe as much as 2 points. But these are all things to be decided in weeks to come as they release McNeil. It's a lovely ball to him by Decore. McNeil inside left position to the edge of the Brighton penalty area, gets the shot away, and it scorches beyond. Steele beaten at his near post, and Everton have a 5th at Brighton and Hove Albion. Brighton 1, Everton 5, and McNeil will want to claim the goal that went in off Steele in the first half, because it would give him a hat-trick. That went down as an own goal, no doubt in that one. An explosive finish, and Everton here have hit 5 at Brighton.
Wow, the manner of this performance and win from Everton, what will it do for confidence going to Man City at home in their next game? What a strike this is from Dwight McNeil. That epitomises his performance for me. They've been a threat all evening on the counter-attack, still going at it, 90 plus minutes. Onana releases McNeil on his left hand side, he gets him behind, looks like he's going to fall over, like he's run out of legs, and he hits it on that acute angle. You think you've got to go across the goalkeeper here, but he fires it high into that near post. Jason Steele, absolutely no chance. What a result this is for Everton. 5-1.
Power of the shot, absolutely too much for Steele. He really gave that some welling, and Everton have scored 5 at Brighton and Hove Albion. This is a team that has scored 12 in their first 14 games under Sean Dyche, and he shakes the hand of Roberto De Zerbi down below us and knows this is a giant step towards safety, and moves towards the fans away to the right hand side, applauding them all the way. And Brighton players sink to their knees and they look wearied physically and mentally. And how much will this take out of them with games against Arsenal and Manchester City and the like, and Newcastle to come? Danny?
Well, that remains to be seen. Really important that Brighton hit the reset button, and look, for them I think it was just a bad day at the office. They weren't quite at it, and the competitive nature of this league, you know, that can happen if you're not quite at it, off your levels. and even a team like Everton, who have been struggling all season long, can come and turn you over. Let's give all the credit to Everton this evening. They were absolutely superb to a man. Great team performance, clinical with the chances that presented to them. Second half, managed the game really well. And what will that result do for them confidence-wise going into the remaining fixtures? I don't think any of us seen that result coming. Credit to Sean Dyche and the players. Absolutely superb 3 points and much needed.
I stuck my neck out before the game, Chappers, saying if they won here I thought they would stay up. I'm staying with that prediction. Before I leave in my car, Danny Gabardon is leaving in Noah's Ark because he is the rain bringer and it's pouring here.